What's poppin', everybody? It's a Sabro Fighting 4. I got another new deck profile for the standard format. We're gonna be looking at one of the starters today for Scarlet and Violet, and it's gonna be this Skeledirge EX. So I think this is kind of a favorite. I mean, I would imagine all three starters are popular. Maybe Muscarada and this guy is more popular than the water one. But anyway, so this is the Fire Crocodile from Paldea Evolved. Big EX, 340 HP, and you basically have, well, maybe you have more than one choice, but at least for what we're going to do today, we're going to be using this deck as a tank, basically, a tank deck, favoring this guy. So normally, you know, when they bring out cards in the set, they sort of give you cards and it's obvious, build it yourself, use these cards together. So you got the Chien-Pao with Excalibur, this guy, you use it with Oricorio. It probably is a better idea and a more consistent method to use the Fire Oricorio with this guy. But instead, I'm going to combine him with Garganacl, however you say it. This guy that looks like a Mega Man Navi. Pretty cool, but almost doesn't look like a Pokemon. Yeah. So 2 stage 2s. Normally I'm against using 2 stage 2 lines, even during the days where you could afford to do that, like in Gen 3 and Gen 4. I'm against that, but we're going to make the exception. Sometimes you got to make the exception because this is going to be a tank deck. So we're going to be slow anyway. We're going to do what we can to be effective with 2 stage 2s. So I'm going to say this right now because I don't want any misunderstandings. Using this deck to be competitive is not a good idea right now because it's a big fire Pokemon weak to water. Water is very popular. Chien-Pao by Excalibur, you guys know the drill, Palkia, and this guy dies in one shot. It's another one of those problems that I have with modern Pokemon. These ×2 weaknesses when we have such large HP Pokemon and with such big ass attacks, it's a double-edged sword. So for example, a Pokemon like this, you know, if it's gonna have a popular Pokemon that hits it for weakness, it's not gonna see the light of day. So against water, it's almost 100% an auto loss. You don't even think about it. But besides water, if we can get the setup and then tank with him, then he might be pretty effective. His big 340 HP, not going to be easy to take out. And then he has Vitality Song, 50 for 1, not very good, but it also heals 30 damage every time you do this attack. And it pretty much combines with the Burning Voice attack. So this guy is like a singer Pokemon. Voice and song attacks. Anyway, 270 for 2, really strong. It's gonna get the 1-hit KO on a lot of Pokemon. Falls a little bit short on some of the most popular V-Stars and DXs with 280, but I mean it's still gonna be pretty good, you know. And with 50 and 270, you're in that range for 2-hit KOs and pretty much everything besides VMAXs. So that's really strong, 270 for 2. The downside is for every damage counter this guy has, -10. So basically if they just hit you for 150 damage, then this attack becomes almost useless, 120. And usually if you just get hit 200 or more, which is going to be common, then the attack becomes useless. So we got to make sure this guy comes in fresh to go for the big hit. And then we got to make sure we heal him all the time so we can use the Burning Voice. And even if we can't do 270, at least do like 200 turn after turn. That's going to be the goal. So for some reason, I don't know why TCG Live is doing this today. It's a bit weird. You got like, yeah, you got this Fuecoco here, and then you got the rest of the line down here. Anyway, it's a bit strange. But to not jump all over the place, the Skeledirge line is going to be a 4-4-2. So 4 of the stage 2, 4 of the basic one, Fuecoco. This one, and I got this one because I only have 3 of the 90 HP one. 90 HP, you probably want this one. The 80 HP one can do 80 for 1. 2 retreat is a little bit better, but still, you're not going to put 2 energies in the retreat. Yeah, and then 2 of the Crocalor. You got a few options for this guy. This one has 110 HP. There's another one with 100 HP. I got this one in. He can do 70 for 2, 30 for 1. More HP. I think he's the best option. So that's the Crocodile line, I guess. And for the Garganacl, damn. So there's a 180 HP stage 2 Pokemon. it's gonna give you during checkup, so between turns basically, 20 damage heal on all of your Pokemon. So this can be pretty busted. I mean, it's balanced by being a stage 2, but if you have a bunch of these out and then you get the continuous healing turn after turn, it's gonna be more impressive than people might realize. It's a lot of healing. And then we got the Radiant Serena 2 as a Radiant Pokemon to give us additional healing during our turn. And then you got a lot of healing going on, along with this guy's first attack. So once again, you probably are better off using Oricorius, but we're going to be sort of funky and use this guy instead. I had 3 before, but I had to drop to 2 because this deck is very, very inconsistent. The numbers got to be perfect in this sort of a deck, and it's still going to brick. So I decided to just do 2, and yeah, hopefully we don't have any problems. We got the little mushroom, Nasil or Nakli. I got 2 of this one and then 2 of the 60 HP one, because that's all I got. They both have bad retreat. You're never going to attack with them. You don't have any energies. You probably maybe want more of this guy because he has more HP, but I mean, very little difference. And then one of the Naslast, however the fuck you're supposed to say his name. 100 HP. Definitely looks like a Cube Man from Mega Man. It just gives me that vibe. But anyway, one of this guy. And the reason we run 2 of the stage 1 here as opposed to the usual one that I do is because we are running 2 stage 2 lines. So 4 rare candies might not be enough. So we are going to have to make use of these guys too. Okay. And then the last Pokemon is this Manaphy, so just something for bench protection. You don't have a lot of space for extra tech choices and stuff. I mean, if I'm gonna max out the Nakli and then the Fuecoco, that's 8 with Serena 9, Manaphy 10, just to meet that basic threshold of I want to have at least 10 basics. And then, I mean, I got 19 Pokemon because we have so many evolution Pokemon here anyway. Only 9 energies before I go to the trainers. Just talk about the energies. Just 9 fire energies. You don't need that many for this guy to attack. I wanted to have 10. That's usually what my minimum is, but had to just make a few more sacrifices to put in more supporter cards, more consistency cards, because this deck is gonna brick hard. Anyway, I did the best that I could for a deck like this. And now for the trainers, we got the standard stuff we always gotta have for a stage 2 deck. You max out the rare candies, no questions asked. We have a lot of balls, 4 nest ball, got 3 level ball and 1 ultra ball. Ultra ball is to get your stage 2, it's just a method to get something like that. Can't afford to run a lot of them because we don't want to be discarding much. I even have just 1 Professor Research, and I have different supporter cards than some of the usual ones, having more copies of this guy. Level ball and nest ball, you get your basics, standard stuff. We max out the trekking shoes, just a good item-based draw. And then if you reveal something you don't need, you can get rid of it, get something else. Really nice. And to go with that, I got 1 of the Gutsy pickaxe as well. More item-based draw, just improve our consistency as much as we can. Because you can't just have like 20 supporter cards when you can only use 1 per turn. You need a good blend of supporters and trainers, or items, I guess. And these cards sort of help. I got the 1 tech switch. We got some big retreat Pokemon. Unfortunately, we can't really do much about that. I can't afford to run more than 1 of the switching cards here. You probably do want more, but the deck is not consistent enough for you to run more, on the chances your opponent's going to try and get you guys stuck. The Crocodile doesn't matter if Skeleditch gets in the active position. You can just attach energies and attack. It's the Naklas, Gargar, Nakla, whatever the fuck, that you can't let him get stuck. But it is what it is. So there's the 1 switch. And I mean, that's about it for the item cards. Everything else is going to be supporter cards in our stadium. Stadium of choice is the Temple of Sinnoh. Now, in this sort of a deck, you can do that other stadium that I always forget, that is basically a nest ball for non-rule box basic Pokemon. That would probably help a lot. You could do that. Path to the Peak, you can't really do unless you really want to drop Radiant Serena. And I do want to exploit this card, so we can't really do Path to the Peak. Otherwise, it would have worked perfectly here. This is just gonna stop Pokemon that use special energies and doesn't affect us at all. So that's why I have it. 2 counter stadiums. You gotta have at least 2. And that's it. And then the rest of the stuff is basically supporter cards. Only 1 Oak, as I've said, because I can't afford to be discarding shit. We can't even afford to discard 1 rare candy. I mean, if we have to, we're gonna do that, but you need all of them to get your stage 2s and then your other stage 2s. You got 2 lines, basically. So that's the Oak. Max out the Iono. Standard stuff, disruption, and good draw in the beginning of the game. Got the 1 Irida. Skyla, get a candy, and then we can get Manaphy too if it's in the deck. Got the 1 Shauna, consistent shuffle and draw. Shuffle and draw 5 isn't the greatest, but I mean we can't run more than 4 at the end of the day. And I don't want to take any risks with more copycats. Copycat is good, but sometimes if you can't really exploit it, then it's gonna be a worse Shauna. So at least Shauna is reliable, always at 5. So I do 1 and 1. I do the 1 Squirgle, a card that I sort of dropped in other decks because you don't need it. But in this deck, because we're going to have big hands and probably want to keep our hands, when we got things like Candy and Pokemon to evolve, okay, I'm going to wait until the next turn sort of thing. This sometimes is better than just shuffling up a bunch of cards and then redrawing and not really thinking your deck that way. So this is good. Plus I need supporter cards anyway. Same for this guy, new edition. It's only going to give you 2 cards, but you can grab 2 of any evolution cards and then put them into your hand. So once again, if I have a bunch of pieces laying around, but I'm missing some other pieces, like I got the candies, I got the Pokemon, missing the stage 2s, this guy can get the job without having for us to shuffle and draw, that sort of thing. So have 1, I had 2, but he can be a brick card, and he only gives you 2 cards. He doesn't let you draw. So if you see him at the wrong time, it's your only supporter. You're trying to see basic Pokemon, you're trying to see different stuff, and you can only get evolutions with this guy. It's shit. So just dropped it to 1 and made some changes. You don't want to do probably more than 1 of this guy. Then I got the 1 Miriam, Pot of Avarice, recover my Pokemon and give me some nice draw. Very, very good. Gotta have it. And what else do we got? I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, the boss's orders to use and win you the game at the right time. And that's it. I don't believe I missed anything. It's a very simple deck. You got to get the numbers right. It's going to be inconsistent a lot of times, no matter what you do. But I made it. I played a bunch of matches. I told you guys that I was going to show you Skeledirge because I was interested in it. The reality is, yeah, this guy, it's not his time with water killing him in 1 shot. But I mean, hopefully we don't run into water. Or if we do, maybe we get lucky, I don't know. But yeah, that's the Skeledirge, the Fire Crocodile. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Maybe in the future I'll make this guy with Oricorio too. The idea with Oricorio is it's just a basic Pokemon and does almost the same thing as this guy, but this guy in between turns is a lot more powerful. You have a lot more space for different cards and more consistency cards. Now, in a healing tank deck like this, there's other cards you can use like that ice cream, what the hell it is, like the popsicle thing. Flip coins, get some healing, a bunch of other healing cards you can utilize. But I'm going for some more reliable cards as opposed to random item cards that can give you heal. So that's how we're going to do things. And you do want to, get this guy to get that big clean attack 270 first before they touch it. And then after you at least do some damage, if you don't need to do that much damage, then you get the healing, then it can be effective. Alright, so that's the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What